Finally, Mark is making some sense here because everybody wants to sack Ten Hag. He's making really good points finally because we have to. We just you can't think you can beat. Even though the first 20 minutes of that game we were fine, had a couple of chances. You just can't deal with the fact that the VAR is going to come in and basically give them a penalty for no reason. And then we still had chances after that. City still was probably the better team, but it wasn't night and day. And then they come out, and after about 6 minutes, we didn't look like we were ready to go, and they scored, and that pretty much was the end of it. The only issue I had about this entire game was I don't think that Lando Lindelof should have stayed on. Once we got out of the first half down 1-0, I think he should have brought Reguilon in there. It was his side that where Holland got his second goal. There was nobody there marking him. I'm not saying that he would have done anything about it, but all they did is move it down there, and then everybody's in the middle of the field or middle of the penalty box, and it's I could have made that goal. There was nobody there defending him, so we definitely need that. And the fact is, you can't put Bruno where playing on the right. He just can't do it. But it's not. I mean, we had 3 or 4 decent chances to get a goal in this game. We just didn't do it. Especially when we were just playing like absolute dog shit and we're down 2-0. Rashford had it. He was through. If we score there with 15 minutes left, who knows? We might get something out of the game. Obviously, the Kraus would have been up, but he missed it. And we can't. If he was on form, who knows? We might have scored in the first 2 minutes of this game. I mean, City is a better team, and overall, the game, they deserve the win. There's no question about that. But it does change when you have humans who run VAR, comes in 2 or 3 minutes after the play and says, you need to go look at this. And you can see the guy on field, the referee on the field, saying he's looking at it about 2 minutes himself because they're trying to find a foul there when there's no foul. This is something that happens every day on every corner there is, or every set piece that has this. It should. Oh my son came out. He doesn't know. So just let us know we lost. But at least Mark is making sense here because everybody, all these Twitter and all these people on internet want us to get rid of Ten Hag, and he's got the best winning percentage of any coach who's ever started for us. Now, it doesn't mean he can't be criticized. I would have not put Lindelof there, but again, I don't think he had anybody there. I don't think anybody was fit enough to play against City for that long. And they actually knew what they were going to do. They gave it to Foden the entire time, and they dealt with Lindelof had to deal with him. It's not like Foden just killed him. It's not like it's just that he got himself out of position a couple times. The ball was over his head. They almost scored a couple times. Onana played great today. Three goals. He could have given up 6. He's the man of the match for me. That's what I put in mine. But you can't. It's very hard to sit there and say that there's such a big gulf between these teams, and there is. But you can't look at a team that's going to have 8 players that would not actually start if everybody was available. If Mount was actually in his form, if Casemiro was available, he would be there. You'd have Fernandes and Varane there. That's 4 right there. You'd have Wan-Bissaka clearly playing above Delo in this game because of his defensive ability. You'd have Shaw. That's 6 more. So you just can't. This is the reason why we beat them last year is because we matched them up pretty well, even though Shaw played for Fernandes that game. So you can't continually say we have to change after he's been here the team for 15 months and we're not starting well, but we have fight. And the thing is, it's unfortunately we played so crap, even though we played well for 20 minutes, had a chance to get a goal in that game, didn't do it. And then shit goes against us, and for a couple of minutes we're not playing well. And then at the end of the half, last 3 or 4 minutes, we put them under pressure again. But you can't come out in the second half and just be down. You know, that they bring Mount on at halftime because Aberbat got a yellow. I would have took off Lindelof there and put Ragulan. But again, I'm not the coach. I don't know how much he thinks Reguilon can go because he waited and waited and waited on all these substitutions. He didn't bring in Garnacho till like almost 80 minutes or 78 minutes. I thought at 60 minutes that they would have changed it. Sounds like my wife is coming up here. There she comes. Thank you, dear. What is this? This will be good for tomorrow. I want to be 12. But anyway, when it gets to this time in the game, when it's like two nothings, and they're just taking the game and they're just taking the ball off the ball off the foot, and you just realize at that point we don't deserve anything from that game, and you just say fair play to City, they deserve to win because they got that second goal. If they won 1-0 in that game, and we had chances to score, I would have never said that. They didn't deserve the first one. But again, Onana played a good game. I'll go and give you my ratings of the starters itself. I think Lowe played okay. I give him a 6. You can't. What are you going to do? Maguire, probably a 4. Um, um, Evans, probably a 5. Lindelof, probably his first worst game he's played, and that's not his position, so I'll give him a 3. Adverbat, probably a 4. He never got the ball. I mean, we basically went over the top of the midfield again because we couldn't do anything with it. A couple times McTominay had it and did stuff with it. I mean, a couple times on the break that we could have got something. We had them on their back feet, and we just did not make the right pass. And that's what really gets me upset because there are times years ago we had like Pogba in the midfield. Even though they would dominate us, we'd still every time we have a chance, he would make a nice little pass, and we had a chance to score, and we won some of these games. But we don't really have that anymore. With Bruno playing out right, he's not involved. Okay, in the midfield, Ericsson probably a 5. He can only do what he can do. He's limited with his physicality. Um, Ambergat, I said a 4 or 3. McTominay probably 4. Had a chance, nice little shot. If it goes inside, that's probably going in, and it's probably 1-1 at half. And who knows what happens? Bruno, that's the worst I've seen him play. That's a 1 for me. That's the worst I've ever seen him play. And he shouldn't be in that position anyway. And I don't think he led pretty well today. Hoyland, you can't blame him. He's graveyard shift. Had a chance. He's a striker. He probably needs to make that. So I'll give him a 5.5. Rashford, another one, 5. Had a chance. Didn't do anything with it. You have to make that shot. And like I said, Onana's probably 8 for me. Clearly the man of the match. The substitutions, they didn't do anything. I mean, Mount didn't do anything. Didn't get the ball. That's another thing. We're not getting the ball to the midfielder at all. It's like we're just going over the top of them, or we're losing it, and it comes back in, and we have to defend it. And that's the biggest problem we have is our midfield. I think our bad 4 didn't really play that bad. It's just that they got their chances and they scored a couple of them, and it could have been more, and we could have scored a couple of games or goals. It could have been 6-2 or something like that. But anyway, it sucks. We move on, and hopefully we get players back that actually want to play. And before I leave, the only issue I have with Manchester United when they lose to teams like this is that I want to see that they fight for it. And there are a lot of times in that second half I didn't see that. So I don't personally have a problem with Anthony laying one on somebody. I don't. A couple times Bruno tried to do it as well. I think guys like McTominay that are big dudes like that, they need to do this just to wake us up. And the fact that we don't do it anymore because the game has changed so much, you're not allowed to do this anymore. I mean, it's almost disrespectful when you actually put some physicality on people. And meanwhile, if you get touched, you go down in the box and you claim for a penalty, even though there's no way Hoyland just holding you like that would stop you from getting where you need to go. Hoyland actually takes his hand off of you. He doesn't. It's just disgusting that the double standard when it comes to certain teams in this league. And again, we had that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It seems like all the shit went our way. We didn't have VAR back then, but a lot of times it seems that we got a lot of good stuff. The karma is so much different. I can point several times this year that if you're going to make that as a penalty, it should have been for Manchester United. And on that same plate, McGuire had his hands around the one guy's head, so that could have been called. I mean, it's just you don't call that. But anyway, all right, we just move on. Um, it's more important what we do in the cups, and I think we play Fulham next, and we just got to keep. We're not drawing, but we got to win our next game, and hopefully more players get back being fit. Because another issue we had in this game is even though players are back, they're not fit to play. You just can't. People can get so upset online about this, saying that we suck and suck and suck. But I just told you that there's 7 players that would have not started this team if everybody was fit. And that should tell you right there. Now, guys like Mark, who was exactly right when we started his stream, is now going to say that we should never got someone like Evans. I'm like, we didn't have any money, so I think he's played okay. I don't think he was the fault of anything today. But the issue is that they're not good enough for Manchester United, or what we thought Manchester United is. So this is going to be. We said it last year. It's going to be up and down. We just can't. The players can't turn on the manager. That's it. If players are not if they're telling the manager they're not fit to play, and they're still even being on the bench, then they can't complain about it later on. They can't complain that they're not playing. My issues that I have now is like I don't understand why Palestri wasn't on the bench. I think we had 2 other goalkeepers on the bench. I think Palestri should have been on the bench. Maybe he wasn't because of what he said. I don't think that's it. But again, the first 20 minutes of that game, they didn't do anything. There was a chance that Holland could have done something, but we had more chances. We actually somewhat had a control of that game. And then just changed and changed and changed. After the goal, obviously it changed. But then we came back into the game, and what we did, great save at the end of the first half. It kept us at 1-0. You think you go into the locker room, you say, we're going to change it around, we're going to do something, the crowd behind us, and we're going to do something. And another thing I have to say, the crowd was crap the entire day. I'm listening here in the United States, but it was crap. Last year in that game, they scored first in that game too. It was in the second half, but they scored first, and we came back. But the crowd was crappish today, and I don't know if it's because it was the Charlton thing and all that. Maybe it is, but the crowd was crap, and that hurt us as well. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to eat my lunch, and we'll talk about it later. You guys have a good weekend, and just football, baby. I'll live. You live. Bye.